Good afternoon, Acadiana, KATC TV3 Chief Meteorologist Rob Perillo here with your early afternoon update as of 2:05 this afternoon. Strong to very heavy thunderstorms on the way. Much of Acadiana back through southeast Texas in a high-risk area of excessive rainfall where up to 2 to 3 inches of rain per hour will be possible in spots, and rain totals could be approaching a foot in isolated areas. We'll get to the specifics on the rainfall in just a bit, but want to show you the latest computer model guidance, the latest data we have. That excessive risk of rainfall becomes moderate, one level lower over eastern Louisiana for tomorrow. An additional 3 to 5 inches of rain will be possible there, mainly from eastern portions of Acadiana on eastward. This is the way it looks on satellite imagery this afternoon, with the coldest cloud tops fortunately just offshore the southeast Texas coast, along the upper Texas coast, and we'll be watching this. Hopefully this stays offshore, but there's no guarantee about that, and that's why much of the area of southeast Texas and southwest Louisiana is hatched in for a high risk of excessive rainfall. On the radar satellite composite, you can see the bulk of those heavier rains just offshore, and again, we have that flash flood watch in effect southeast Texas through Louisiana. Per the National Weather Service, their forecast numbers are looking pretty good right now. I think 2 to 5 inches will be common, with isolated higher amounts north of the I-10 corridor, and as you get closer to the coast along and south of I-10, upwards of 6 to 10 inches will be common, and this is the National Weather Service terminology, with isolated higher amounts possible south of that I-10 corridor, and I think it's going to be right near the coastline. Now this afternoon you can see where the cloud to ground, or in this case the cloud to water lightning is. It's down along the upper Texas coast. Hopefully this activity just moves to the east, northeast, or eastward and robs some of the convection inland. So that's what we'll be hoping for. But if some of this lightning builds inland later on tonight through tomorrow morning, we are going to be in for some flooding. Locally right now, we just have plenty of rain on the radar. You can check the radar at any time at KATC.com. Mostly wet roadways, some ponding on the roadways, especially over southwest Louisiana, where it's been raining more steadily and more heavily over the last couple of hours. Some pretty good downpours showing up across Iberia and St. Martin parishes as well. As we look at the predictive radar model, it's going to be on and off rain through this evening, but when it starts to get ugly will be later on tonight, when we'll start to see convection getting more intense, which is typical of a tropical system. That's going to slowly move eastward with some very heavy downpours. Now the details are going to change. What we're trying to interpret right now is what is the model telling us, and the model tells us the threat of flooding rains and training of rain cells will be most likely through the overnight hours into early tomorrow morning. Then as we head into the mid-morning hours, the focus begins to push a little bit farther to the east, and then it looks like we get a bit of a break late morning, early afternoon hours for most of Acadiana. We might even see some sunshine tomorrow afternoon, but look here, there's another round of rain and storms coming in for tomorrow night, but that should be a progressive setup. Here's the NAM model showing much the same, with the threat of flooding rainfall overnight tonight, then a little bit of a break tomorrow afternoon, then going into tomorrow evening and overnight tomorrow night, another round of rain and storms that hopefully will be progressive and moving pretty quickly. I would expect maybe another inch or two of rain on top of the 3 to 6 that most of us are going to see in the near term. Here's the high resolution model run, and pretty much in the spirit of what the National Weather Service is indicating, with the lower rain totals likely to the north, higher rain totals most likely to the south. Now again, this is just a model, an approximation. Don't look at your particular location. What we try to look at is, where are the yellows? That corresponds to 8 inches of rain. Where are the pinks? That corresponds to 10 inches of rain. And in some spots, there are some hot spots on this particular model run. They're showing some brown. That's 15 inches or better. So there are going to be isolated spots that see close to a foot of rain. Most of us get about 3 to 6. The RPM model, I don't think is doing a particularly good job. I think it's skewed. We'll have a later model run coming up on KATC on the air coming up at 5 o'clock this evening, but I think it's misreading the threat of heavy convection, and this should be shifted farther to the south. So that's the way it looks right now with respect to rainfall. One other issue is the coastal flood watch. Tides right now are running about 1 foot above normal, and they're going to go to about 2 feet above normal for tomorrow morning as those storms work their way in. And while those storms are working their way inland here, we're going to see the south winds increasing, buffeting along the coast, pushing tides at least 2 feet above normal. Might see 3 feet, but Intracoastal City, Sippermore Point, you're going to see at least 2 to 2.5 feet of water, maybe more. You're going to see some water coming up the Delcombe Canal, so maybe some minor flooding in around the Delcombe area, and also some high water areas as we get into the Port of Iberia, Port of St. Mary as well. Those southerly winds stay pretty strong through tomorrow, early tomorrow afternoon, then should abate into tomorrow evening briefly, and then as we head into Friday afternoon, resuming out of a moderate flow out of the south as we head into the weekend, and that'll be important for the release of the Morganza spillway. So that's that full afternoon briefing as of shortly after 2 o'clock this afternoon. We're going to have more coming up on KATC at 5, 6, and 10, so we'll see you then.